Today is our very first ever Friends of Rachel show. And we're kicking it off with my pal Melina Kanakaridis.
You do not know about sex. You cannot talk about sex.
Then a big fat Greek supper.
Moussaka.
Moussaka. Plus, she's the fashion expert.
For you, this is a wardrobe staple.
She's the DIY queen.
We're trying to go glammy and luxe.
Now it's a makeover takeover.
This is a huge difference for her.
Today at 3 on 4.
An all-new Oprah. You're invited to the dinner of a lifetime. 4,000 roses, a fleet of limousines, 7 lucky viewers, every last detail perfect for my personal hero, Sidney Poitier. The surprise that brought this living legend to tears.
You are kidding me. Oh, my God.
Plus, bring out the gifts. An ending not to be missed. Next Oprah.
Today at 4 on 4.
Next, Entertainment Tonight. New questions in the Anna Nicole autopsy. The latest on the controversy about to erupt. Then, a day in the life of a Grey's Anatomy star. The tough doc, just like you and me, grocery shopping for her kids.
Which is what you have to do with kids. You have to trick them.
And Laverne and Shirley reunion news. Penny Marshall breaks her silence.
Penny, is there really a chance that there may be a Laverne and Shirley reunion?
Next, E.T.
Tonight at 7 on 4.
We now join Up to the Minute in progress.
1,397 after closing Tuesday down 71 points. The NASDAQ index is at 2,437, off 18. We're back in 2 minutes. This is CBS News, Up to the Minute.
Hi, I'm Keith Hernandez.
And I'm Walt Clyde Frazier.
What a marvelous night for the action.
Let's go to the play-by-play.
Oh, there's Mr. Graybeard approaching Miss Hottie. Oh, no.
Rejected.
Clyde, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no play for Mr. Gray. Get that man our Just for Men brush-in color gel.
It's specially formulated to penetrate coarse facial hair and gets rid of gray in 5 easy minutes.
Home run. Another win with Just for Men.
Taking care of my home is not easy. I barely have time for myself anymore. But now, things have gotten a little better with Airwick Aromatherapy Scented Oils in essential oil fragrances like calming, soothing, and relaxation that help me unwind and feel at ease. If only for a moment. Airwick Scented Oil Aromatherapy Fragrances. It's good to be home. And to experience aromatherapy anywhere in your home, try Airwick Decosphere.
We're at Westminster Market to see how our best spray and wash formula works on tough stains.
You gotta have some stains if you're gonna work in a kitchen.
You hear about that volcano, Ketchup a Katoa? It's like, whoa, hell! New spray and wash now has Resolve Power, so it removes tough stains the first time, guaranteed. And take a look.
That's amazing. The stain's gone. I can't believe you got it out.
It's an amazing product. Trust spray and wash, forget stains.
Another good thing about Geico is they've got like real live people working there 24/7. So like say you need to report a claim, right? A real person will be there to help you. Then you can use geico.com to view photos of the damage, track your claim, print an estimate. You want an English muffin? They literally hand you a toasted muffin with butter and jam. Oh, it's tasty. That's a complete dramatisation, of course, but you get my point.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It's 40 past the hour. White House spokesman Tony Snow's new battle with cancer on the heels of Elizabeth Edwards' cancer recurrence has brought this silent killer back into sharp focus. This year alone, close to 1.5 million Americans will be told they have cancer. The deadliest are the most common: prostate, breast, colon, and lung cancer, with lung cancer alone taking more lives than all the others combined. Further, 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetimes. So what exactly is this disease? Cancer isn't just one disease, it's actually a family of diseases. But all cancers have one thing in common: out of control cell growth. If the gene that regulates growth is damaged beyond repair, the cell starts to grow outside its normal boundaries and turns into a mass. If there's a genetic defect in the cell that allows it to travel throughout the body and form a mass in another location or metastasize, then it's cancerous. As these cells spread, they take over vital organs and systems until they eventually shut down. Even if there's no mass, there can be microscopic disease that can develop later. That's why, even if a tumor is removed, cancer can return. The news isn't all bad, however. Scientists are working on novel approaches to eradicate cancer, or at least manage it. CBS's Dr. John LaPook reports.
There never will be a single magic bullet, so researchers are developing an arsenal of weapons. The most promising, targeted drug therapies. Instead of blasting the entire body with chemotherapy or radiation, targeted therapies hone in on the cancer cells while leaving normal cells relatively unharmed.
For each tumor, we believe there's a critical Achilles heel, and if we attack that Achilles heel, we can kill the tumor.
Drugs can attack cancer cells on different fronts. Avastin shuts down the blood vessels that feed the tumor, literally starving it to death. It's being used in a number of cancers, including colon and lung. Drugs like Herceptin, used for breast cancer, target proteins on the surface of the cell. Gleevec works inside the cell to block cancer's growth and has revolutionized the treatment of one type of leukemia. A combination of targeted therapies has kept George Dar alive since he was diagnosed 7 years ago with leukemia.
I was told that most patients didn't survive more than 5 years.
First, he used Gleevec, and when that stopped working, he tried a new drug called Sprycel, and has been doing well ever since.
This disease has progressed from being a terminal illness to more chronic illness, like, say, diabetes, that you can control pretty much with a drug that you take every day.
Researchers are also figuring out how to mix and match drugs to see what combinations work best for each patient.
Even now, we're already beginning to treat cancer patients on the basis of the genetic signatures inside their cancer cells.
There are currently over 600 cancer drugs in development.
The war on cancer is not going to be won with one dramatic victory. It's a lot of small skirmishes, so that cancer in many cases will one day become a chronic and quite bearable disease rather than something that threatens imminent death.
All of this progress has come on the backs of scientists whose federal funding has recently been threatened. They say the future looks bright for cancer patients if we invest in research. Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
Doctors say you can brighten your future and potentially limit your cancer risks by making some simple, healthy lifestyle adjustments. CBS's Kelly Wallace explains.
1 out of 3 Americans will get cancer before they die. Who is at highest risk? Someone with a family history, who smokes, has a high-fat diet, and doesn't exercise. Dr. David Nannis has been treating cancer patients for over 20 years.
If you're obese or overweight, you have an increased incidence of a number of cancers: colon cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer.
According to the American Cancer Society, in 2007, about 1/3 of cancer deaths will be linked to being overweight or obese, physical inactivity, or nutrition, and therefore could have been prevented. So what can you do to reduce your risk? Start by eating a diet containing lots of fruit and vegetables. For example, studies show broccoli, especially broccoli sprouts, may help prevent colon and rectal cancer. Lifestyle you can control, but family history you can't. 5 to 10% of all cancers are strongly hereditary. There are genetic tests for some kinds of cancers, including breast, colon, and ovarian.
It's important, if you know you're from a cancer family, then you need to get screened.
For everyone, doctors believe those mammograms after the age of 40 and colonoscopies after age 50 may be the most powerful weapon in the battle against cancer.
The biggest problem is the fear factor. People are so afraid of being diagnosed with cancer that they wait.
Dr. Nannis says waiting even 3 months could mean the difference between life and death. Kelly Wallace, CBS News, New York.
Coming up, hearing the words, "You have cancer," for a second time. When we return, we'll talk with an oncologist about fighting cancer after you thought the battle was already won. This is CBS News, Up to the Minute.
This ever happened to you? You run your self-cleaning oven for 3 hours at 800 degrees to clean it, and the very next time you cook, there's a new mess. I discovered Easy Off Fume-Free Max. It's safe to use on self-cleaning ovens.
It lets you spot clean in between self-clean cycles in minutes. Spray on Easy Off, wait just 30 minutes.
Then wipe it off. Easy on, easy off. It also works on baking pans, barbecue racks, and broiler pans.
Easy Off for self-cleaning ovens and so much more.
Keep your glass cooktop looking its best with Easy Off 3-in-1 Glass Top Cleaner.
If you suffer from allergies, more effective relief is on the way. Benadryl, proven more effective than the leading allergy medicine at relieving your worst allergy symptoms. Get Benadryl, proven more effective.
Through the years, many things pass from father to son, like Aqua Velva Aftershave. Smells great, cools, firms, and tones. Cool. Aqua Velva, men get it.
Resolve presents new multi-fabric cleaner. You've had this couch for what, a few years? Remember what it looked like when it was new?
Oh my gosh! We practically live on that couch.
That's why Resolve has come out with new multi-fabric cleaner. It's guaranteed to lift away dirt from those fabrics you can't fit in the washing machine. See the difference?
That's clean. Wow, that looks great.
Also works on mattresses, drapes, and car upholstery.
Can you do the rest of it?
Trust Resolve. Forget stains.
Taking care of my home is not easy. I barely have time for myself anymore. But now, things have gotten a little better with Airwick Aromatherapy Scented Oils in essential oil fragrances like calming, soothing, and relaxation that help me unwind and feel at ease. If only for a moment. Airwick Scented Oil Aromatherapy Fragrances. It's good to be home. And to experience aromatherapy anywhere in your home, try Airwick Decosphere.
Coming up, it's tax time and Uncle Sam wants your money. But in a special series, we've got critical advice and winning strategies to help you reduce your taxes on the early show.
Tonight, more of what you need to know about cancer. We'll look at the mystery of how cancer migrates around the body, at which research projects get funding and which don't. And we'll explore and explode some cancer myths. Our series Cancer, Cures, Costs, and Controversies continues on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric. CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
It's hard enough for most people to hear the sentence, "You have cancer," once. To hear it a second time, years after thinking the disease was conquered, can be devastating. As we continue our special look at cancer this morning, we consider the tens of thousands of people who are battling cancer the second time around. Dr. Peter Kozak is an oncologist from Beth Israel Hospital and the Continuum Cancer Centers in New York. He joins us this morning with more. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Hearing it the second time around is the last thing anyone wants to hear as a cancer patient, and I imagine it's probably even more devastating the second time.
That certainly can be the case. I think cancer is a very difficult disease, not just for the patient, but their loved ones. Ideally, it's an event that happens only once in a person's life. And indeed, whether it's a second primary cancer, even if it's potentially curable, it is a lot to take. And then in the case of the two high-profile cases that we've heard about this week with Elizabeth Edwards and Tony Snow, when the disease has recurred and is metastatic and is now treatable but not necessarily curable, that obviously is particularly difficult.
Explain exactly, there are two types of a recurrence, right? And how does that happen? Explain a little bit.
Right. When patients have survived, and again, we're using the word cancer and speaking of it as though it is one entity, but I really want to emphasize that cancer, under the rubric of cancer or the title of cancer, this actually is hundreds of different diseases. So I don't necessarily want patients and their loved ones to walk away with any definite information here, but these are general principles. When we have cancer, local cancer, the common tumors, breast cancer, colon cancer, lung cancer, it is potentially resectable, or it may be potentially resectable, and that means that it can be removed surgically. And then doctors like myself, medical oncologists, can help patients by improving their chance of being cured from a surgery, from a cancer surgery, by offering them systemic therapy. And typically that is chemotherapy, intravenous chemotherapy, oral chemotherapy pills. In the case of some breast cancers, hormonal pills. And this is designed to prevent recurrences, both in a metastatic sense or system-wide sense. Breast cancer often can go to bone, it can go to liver, it can go to lung, it can go to brain. But it also, our therapies are with an intent to prevent a local recurrence, a second cancer showing up in the other breast or a second cancer showing up in the same breast.
Now, after, let's say, a patient battles cancer successfully the first time around, what do you tell them to look out for in case it has a recurrence?
Sure. I think the most important thing is for them to continue to get age-appropriate cancer screening. Screening means that that the medical community has established an intervention, whether it's a pap smear, breast exam with mammography, or some sort of colorectal surveillance to detect a cancer early.
But is there anything that they should be looking out for at home, during their daily lives, during their daily routine?
Sure. I think that it's really general symptoms that's concerning. In the case of metastatic cancer, symptoms can include unexplained weight loss, unexplained fatigue, maybe low-grade fevers. Certainly, if a tumor is showing up in a certain part of the body, that can manifest as pain on that particular part of the body or any sort of discomfort. And I do think we have to have a certain degree of vigilance or index of suspicion in somebody who is a cancer survivor for the possibility that they may relapse with recurrence.
How do you advise them with the emotional trauma of the second time? When you hear those words again, that the cancer has returned, how do you coach them through that?
It is coaching, it is encouragement, and I think the first thing that we have to do is assess the scope of the disease. Is it a local recurrence or a second primary cancer, as the case, which can happen with breast cancer, that we may sort of be able to start over from first base and potentially cure them? Or in the case of metastatic colon cancer, there is a substantial minority of patients who potentially, with a combination of chemotherapy and either interventional radiology or surgical procedures, may potentially be cured. So the first thing we need to do is define whether or not we're in the palliative setting or whether we're in a setting where we can treat the cancer and delay or reverse disease-related symptoms with... Go ahead.
With both high-profile cases this week, with Tony Snow and Elizabeth Edwards, do you think that is possibly providing some hope out there for other cancer patients that maybe are going through the same thing?
Again, every case is different, but I really applaud Mr. Snow and Mrs. Edwards for going public very quickly after their difficult news and putting a face on this disease. They've been very frank, as far as I can tell, with their diagnosis, with the stage of the disease, and I think that they are going to allow the public to see that the term cancer survivorship, I think, moves beyond just being cured of cancer, but really will start to include people who are living with active cancer.
And you have a website that you like, that you have advised people to go to if they have questions. What is that? PeopleLivingWithCancer.org is an excellent source of information, and if people put in www.plwc.org, or they just Google People Living with Cancer, they will open up a web page that is full of valuable information. Great, good information. Thank you so much. And for more information about cancer research and treatment, you can visit our website, cbsnews.com. You can also visit our partner in medical coverage, webmd.com. Just search cancer. Dr. Peter Kozak from Beth Israel Hospital, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is CBS News, Up to the Minute.
The International Artist Series, a non-profit organization, presents direct from Spain, Paco Peña and his Flamenco Dance Company, Saturday, March the 31st at 8 p.m. in the Jackie Gleason Theater, Miami Beach. The New York Times says extraordinary. The Los Angeles Times calls him the most universally respected flamenco guitarist today. Don't miss seeing Paco Peña and his Flamenco Dance Company, backed by popular demand, Saturday, March the 31st at 8 p.m. For tickets, call 305-643-9821 and all Ticketmaster outlets. Sponsored by Mama Jenny's Restaurant and German Motorsports.
CBS 4 News on your cell. It's breaking news video, real-time weather radar, and live traffic cams. You can count on it wherever you are, whenever you need it. CBS 4 News on your cell. Log on to CBS4.com to sign up. When you want the whole story, count on the combined resources of CBS 4 News and the Miami Herald, working together every day to cover your world.
Anna Nicole, the Daniel Inquest, Day 2, the new upset inside the courthouse. Oprah's plastic surgery addict, the dramatic measures she's now taking to become a human Barbie doll. Heather Mills, amputee angel fan at 5 years old, in tears. Being wheeled into the OR as doctors do the unthinkable. Reese, Drew, Kate, the best celebrity makeovers of 2007, the amazing before and afters, plus new photos of a star before her nose job. Next, Insider.
Tonight at 7:30 on 4.
CBS Tonight, on the first of 7 new episodes in a row.
We're gonna need food. Look, all we're asking you to do is be reasonable. Starve next fall or freeze this winter. Take your pick.
One day unlike any since the bombs went off. One of Jericho's own will not survive. One episode you cannot miss.
We found a body, Robert, out in the woods.
A powerful new Jericho. CBS Tonight at 8/7 Central.
Maggie Rodriguez and Elliot Rodriguez, only on South Florida's CBS 4 News.
A growing number of people in India say they've discovered the secret to health and happiness. It's free and best results obtained in large crowds. Literally, the more the merrier. Lucy Kraft recently traveled to southern India to sample what many people call the best medicine.
Some people get up early to do a few laps, but in India, tens of thousands say they found a better way to keep body and mind fit. They flock to parks to work out by cracking up. It looks like organized lunacy, but make no mistake, these mirthathons are serious business. They're called laughter clubs. Opponents claim heavy doses of hilarity keep the blues and even illness at bay.
It rejuvenates body, and essentially it takes care of the emotional system of the body.
The individual laughing situations are much more fewer at home. When a person, he or she, comes into the club, they laugh together, and there is no, he will not feel ashamed.
Laughter clubs were started about a decade ago by an Indian doctor who decided that laughter, in fact, was the best medicine. Well, laughter proved contagious. Now there are thousands of these clubs, both here in India and around the world.
Guffaws on cue as the antidote to stress? It sounds like a joke, but I'm game. There is method to this madness, and for an hour I am marched through the Laughter Club's own set of demento drills. We practice something called the machine gun laugh, the teasing laugh, and the hot soup laugh. The bizarre ritual makes me feel like an extra in a horror movie. But laughaholics swear that working out their funny bones works up a sweat and promotes overall well-being. Good for just about anything from arthritis to insomnia.
Cosmetically, it will help.
So you get fewer wrinkles.
You'll get wrinkle-free, yes.
3 steps.
I was having knee pain, says this retired engineer. Now I can walk easily. The birthplace of yoga, breathing exercises, and lifestyle gurus was a natural for giving the world a refresher course in hilarity and demonstrating once again the simple pleasures of a good laugh. Lucy Kraft, CBS News, Bangalore, India.
We're happy you joined us this half hour. This is CBS News, up to the minute.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
Now on CBS News, up to the minute.
The American people have spoken. The House and the Senate have spoken. Now we hope the President is listening.
The Senate votes to pull all U.S. combat troops from Iraq by April 1st of next year.
We have found a small growth in my lower abdomen.
And White House Press Secretary Tony Snow vows to return to his job after news that his cancer has recurred and spread to his liver. Good morning from CBS News headquarters in New York. This is Up to the Minute. I'm Meg Oliver. The United States Senate has joined the House demanding a pullout of American combat troops from Iraq as a condition for any continued funding of the conflict. President Bush has vowed to veto any measure that sets a deadline. But even if he does, Democrats say they've made their point.
What we must not do is to give up just at the moment we're starting to turn things around in Iraq.
If we're making real progress in Iraq, then why are we putting more and more American combat troops into Iraq at the same time that our allies are leaving or have already left?
The vote came after a spirited debate, and it was close. Hagel and one other Republican joined Democrats to kill a GOP attempt to strip the pullout timetable from a supplemental funding bill. The full funding bill has yet to be voted on. Later, Democrats said it was time for the president to compromise.
It is time for us, as we voted today, to start bringing those troops home in an orderly fashion. I hope the president will heed this message from the Senate and the House, sit down with us and come up with an orderly timetable for the return of our troops.
The Senate bill would have all U.S. combat troops out of Iraq by April of next year. The House measure would force a complete withdrawal by September of next year. Embattled Attorney General Alberto Gonzales continues to crisscross the country, explaining to federal prosecutors why he had to fire 8 of their colleagues. Back in Washington, there are more calls for him to be fired. CBS's Jim Axelrod reports.
Chicago made 3 cities in 2 days for Alberto Gonzales. He's trying to change the subject from fired U.S. attorneys to his child sex abuse crackdown.
It's becoming more prevalent.
But he can't get away from the scandal.
I believe in truth and accountability. Everything that I've done in connection with this matter supports that principle. I directed the release of 3,000 pages of documents. I've directed that DOJ employees go up and present testimony.
That won't be happening. His senior counselor is taking the 5th rather than testifying, which isn't sitting well on Capitol Hill.
It is very, very difficult to get the facts when you have key people of the Bush-Cheney administration taking the 5th.
Each day, Gonzales loses more support in Congress. Tuesday, another top Republican said President Bush had not been well served by his attorney general.
You don't go out and remove 8 U.S. attorneys. You don't go out and remove attorneys and say that they've been removed because of incompetence. That is just plain dumb.
It's a steady drip of calls for Gonzales to quit right now. Thursday, his former chief of staff testifies on the Hill about who knew what about the firings. That's the day the drips could become a flood. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, the White House.
For the second time in a week, a major political figure has suffered a recurrence of cancer. First, it was Elizabeth Edwards, wife of Democratic presidential candidate John Edwards. Now, it's White House Press Secretary Tony Snow. Dr. Sean Kniff has details.
At media briefings, Tony Snow speaks for the president. On Tuesday, the president spoke for him.
He called me from the hospital. He told me that when they went in and operated on him, they found cancer.
This is Snow's second battle with the disease.
He told me that he beat this thing before and he intends to beat it again.
On Monday, he went into surgery to have a growth removed from his lower abdomen. That's when doctors discovered the cancer was back and spread to his liver. Dr. Robert Mayer says that signals stage 4 disease.
It's very uncommon for people with stage 4 cancer to be cured.
It's a difficult diagnosis and a situation similar to Elizabeth Edwards. Last week, the wife of presidential hopeful John Edwards announced her breast cancer had metastasized to her ribs, an incurable condition.
However, it's very much treatable, and the same is true for Tony Snow. In the past, people with stage 4 colon cancer were given only a year to live, but that has changed dramatically.
Scans didn't pick up his
When we were young,
We dreamed of this day.
WrestleMania, where we get to show the world what we're about.
That I am more than just a pretty face.
That I'm king of the world.
That we're all grown up.
Hi folks, I'm Mean Gene Okerlund. This year WrestleMania is all grown up and comes to you live from Detroit's Ford Field with the special start time of 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. You can be sure WrestleMania 23 will deliver 4 solid hours of heart-stopping action, drama, and entertainment starring all your favorite WWE superstars. This year WrestleMania is headlined by 3, count them, 3 huge main events with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the special guest referee. The losing billionaire will have his head shaved bald. It all started in February when the Donald showed up on Raw and challenged Mr. McMahon to a match at WrestleMania.
If you lose, I get to shave your head.
Mr. McMahon was hesitant first, but when Trump questioned the chairman's guts, McMahon accepted the match.
The match is on!
Mr. McMahon made the first move by selecting the unstoppable Samoan bulldozer Umaga, while Trump fired back with ECW champion Bobby Lashley. When the two representatives finally met, it took nearly 24 security officers to break them up.
Good God Almighty, these two men are beating the hell out of each other!
This massive brawl prompted the board of directors to select a special guest referee and none other than the Texas Rattlesnake. Stone Cold Steve Austin was called in to keep law and order.
Someone's going to get their head shaved bald at WrestleMania, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
The contract has been signed and the match is on. Billionaire versus billionaire. ECW World Champion versus the Samoan Bulldozer. Which side will claim the victory and which billionaire will leave Detroit bald? And don't forget, that's only part of the action you'll get at WrestleMania. 4 hours of unbelievable moments and memories, all for you right here on DirecTV. To order, call 1-800-531-5000 or go to www.directtv.com/WWE. It's live this Sunday, April the 1st at a special start time of 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Enjoy WrestleMania, everybody. Until next time, I'm Gene Okerlund.
Strip language out of a bill funding the war in Iraq, language that calls for the withdrawal of U.S. troops by next March. The House has already approved the bill with a withdrawal deadline of next September. The president says he'll veto any bill that includes such a deadline. How will the legislative battle affect the military battle overseas? Mike Lyons is a retired Army major and a CBS News military analyst. He joins us from our Washington bureau with some insight. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Meg.
What happens if the funding bill isn't approved or is delayed by politics?
Well, the president will have to use the short-term emergency gap measures in order to fund this war going forward. He has commitments at least out another 12 months or so, so he'll have to use very short-term measures in order to keep the troops fed and keep the supplies running and to keep the war effort going.
Well, give me some examples. What does this mean for our soldiers overseas if they don't get the money that they need?
Well, it just means the logistics takes a longer time. Permission to order supplies. Perhaps they won't get things that they really need to help on the reconstruction of the Iraqi citizens and of the Iraqi towns there. So what will happen is the process slows down. There's an extra layer of red tape that really that the military commanders at this point in time don't need to have in front of them right now.
Let's talk about deadlines. The president doesn't want one. Many of those opposed to the war do. Do publicly announced deadlines have a place on the battlefield?
No, they really don't. We lose our element of surprise. It's a clear principle of war. The commanders on the ground really can't be held to these kinds of things. They have to be, strategic initiatives in order to get troops out of there. But really, in so many ways, as we've talked about before, we really don't see troops leaving there anytime soon. The reality of it is, over 50 years ago, we had a ceasefire in Korea, and we still have troops there today. So, once the politics gets moved aside here, the reality of the situation is that we will have troops in that part of the world, really for many years to come.
And speaking of the reality of the situation, the violence over there continues on a daily basis. There was just another mortar attack this week. What is the latest update on the surge?
Well, the military feels the surge is going well. They feel that a couple of things have changed. The additional troops on the ground have helped. The Iraqi security forces have done a better job moving into neighborhoods. They have more legitimacy, credibility with regard to protecting the Iraqi citizens. They're winning the trust and confidence of the Iraqi citizen. The third thing is we're changing our helicopter tactics. We talked before that the helicopters were being shot down, so we've done different things with helicopters. So you bring all these things together, and the military will tell you that actually the violence is down. That's allowing the economic, the diplomatic, the local efforts in order to rebuild these neighborhoods in Iraq, to get them moving, restore basic services to the citizens, and again, get them to feel the trust and confidence of the American forces that are there.
So you see some improvements?
Yeah, I do, and I've talked to folks about it. It's really early on. Perhaps this enemy is lying in wait, rearming, refitting. There's no question that the second wave could come at any time. It can come from any location. We know that the enemy has moved some of its location down south. We're clearly fighting what's called an economy of force mission, and what that means is we have to put troops in the right place at the battlefield at the right time in order to influence the battle. So we're using our intelligence channels to guess where that is, and right now we've done a pretty good job at doing that.
As the seasons change, can we expect to see any tactical changes in Iraq or Afghanistan?
Yeah, we sure can. In particular, we're getting into the sandstorm season, and this is a place where the enemy can have somewhat of an advantage if they go on the offensive. If we're in the defensive posture, we won't be able to use our technology advantage. The sandstorms are so great within that part of the world during this time that you sometimes can't see your hand in front of your face. So you bring the terrain in, you bring the weather in. As the seasons change, you'll see the enemy change tactics. We're going to have to change right along with them, but you'll see us try to stay on the offensive, not let the enemy get the upper hand.
Switching gears here for a minute, let's move to Iran and Britain. British Prime Minister Tony Blair says if Iran does not release the 15 British sailors and Marines, he would take the matter to a different phase of diplomacy. Do you think a military confrontation is possible?
Well, I don't think he's at that point yet. I think, with the largest amount of U.S. naval forces right now are in the Persian Gulf doing an exercise that was planned many months ago. I think the Prime Minister will look at possibly blocking some channels of trade, possibly keeping the Iranians from moving very quickly through the Persian Gulf region. So he'll do other things before resorting to a military campaign. Iran's a country that has traditionally thumbed its nose at Western civilizations when these kinds of things happen. They've done it before. They'll take this to the very edge of brinkmanship. They're looking for legitimacy at the table. They're trying to figure out exactly, what's going to push the button in order to get something. They want something for these soldiers released, and we've just got to find out what exactly that is.
And any update on exactly where they were when they were detained? There's been a lot of controversy over which waters they were in.
Well, that's remains to be seen again, because again, this part of the world is very open and murky with regard to what exactly where the boundaries are. The Boubian Islands in the southern northern part of Iraq and the southern part of Iran there within the Persian Gulf. The hard part is when they're caught in a small squad, in a small situation like that, by a larger force, they really have no other choice but to surrender and to fall prey into that country. So there's two sides to every story, and that's exactly, we're only hearing the Iranian side at this point.
All right, retired Army Major and CBS News military analyst Mike Lyons, thank you so much.
Thank you, Meg.
And we'll be right back.
Resolve presents new multi-fabric cleaner. You've had this couch for what, a few years? Remember what it looked like when it was new?
Oh my gosh! We practically live on that couch.
That's why Resolve has come out with new multi-fabric cleaner. It's guaranteed to lift away dirt from those fabrics you can't fit in the washing machine. See the difference?
That's clean. Wow, that looks great.
Also works on mattresses, drapes, and car upholstery.
Can you do the rest of it?
Trust Resolve. Forget stains.
Some of us need help falling asleep. Even more of us need help staying asleep. A lot of us need help with both problems. But a good night's sleep doesn't have to be an on-off thing anymore. From the makers of the most prescribed name in sleep medicine comes controlled release formula Ambien CR. It's the only one with 2 layers of sleep relief. The first dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep fast. Plus, unlike other sleep medications, there's a second layer. It dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep. Ambien CR is a treatment option you and your healthcare provider can consider along with lifestyle changes and can be taken for as long as your provider recommends. Until you know how Ambien CR will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Be sure you're able to devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep before being active again. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. It's non-narcotic. However, like most sleep medicines, it has some risk of dependency. Don't take it with alcohol. So ask your healthcare provider about controlled release formula Ambien CR. Remember, CR for a good night's sleep from start to finish.
This ever happened to you? You run your self-cleaning oven for 3 hours at 800 degrees to clean it, and the very next time you cook, there's a new mess. I discovered Easy Off Fume-Free Max. It's safe to use on self-cleaning ovens. It lets you spot clean in between self-clean cycles in minutes. Spray on Easy Off, wait just 30 minutes, then wipe it off. Easy on, easy off. It also works on baking pans, barbecue racks, and broiler pans. Easy Off for self-cleaning ovens and so much more. Keep your glass cooktop looking its best with Easy Off 3-in-1 Glass Top Cleaner.
Tonight, more of what you need to know about cancer. We'll look at the mystery of how cancer migrates around the body, at which research projects get funding and which don't. And we'll explore and explode some cancer myths. Our series Cancer, Cures, Costs, and Controversies continues on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Coming up, it's tax time and Uncle Sam wants your money. But in a special series, we've got critical advice and winning strategies to help you reduce your taxes on the early show.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
It's 18 past the hour. Top stories and up to the minute. The Senate blocks a Republican move to take out of a bill funding the war in Iraq a deadline for the withdrawal of U.S. combat troops. President Bush says he will veto any such bill. More than 100 people have been killed in recent violence in Iraq, including at least 63 in a pair of truck bombings in the mostly Shiite city of Tal Afar. And White House Press Secretary Tony Snow is being treated for a recurrence of colon cancer that has now spread to his liver. Snow says he'll fight the disease. In overseas trading, Japan's benchmark Nikkei index closed down 110 points to finish at 17,254. Alexis Christoforous has more in this morning's CBS News Money Watch.
Investors will be watching Capitol Hill today as Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke testifies before the Joint Economics Committee. Bernanke is expected to be asked about the subprime mortgage market and the overall housing market. Wall Street will be looking for any clues that troubles in the housing market are dragging down the rest of the economy. Meantime, home prices continue to fall. The S&P's housing index for January found single-family home prices fell the most in more than 13 years, down about 1%. That put pressure on stocks. The Dow tumbled nearly 72 points. The Nasdaq Composite gave back 18. The defense contractor ITT has agreed to pay the government $100 million fine after admitting it sold classified night vision technology to China. ITT is the first major contractor convicted of violating the Arms Export Control Act. Now, the company will be able to recoup some of that fine by investing in development of more advanced night vision technology. And it's not a happy moment for Kodak. The company facing expulsion resigned from the Council of Better Business Bureaus. The organization says Kodak refused to provide information about the resolution of nearly 200 consumer complaints. But Kodak says it left because the Better Business Bureau didn't do anything about so-called inaccurate postings on its website. Kodak is the first company to leave the council. That's your Money Watch. Log on to CBSNews.com for more business headlines. In New York, I'm Alexis Christoforous.
A new long-term study of more than 1,300 children is sparking controversy, particularly among working mothers. The study compares children who went to daycare to those who did not. And as you can probably guess, the news isn't good for the daycare crowd. CBS's Kelly Wallace reports.
When working mom Abby Pecorello heard about the new study, she immediately thought of her 2 little girls in daycare.
I just took a step back. I breathed. I know this is the right decision for me. I know my girls are thriving in daycare.
The study found the more time a child spent in daycare, the more likely they were to be disruptive once they started school.
We are talking about children who are probably more inclined every so often to push or hit, to shove, to get angry, to lose emotional control, to take, to disobey.
Jay Belsky, the lead author of the study, said researchers found the quality of daycare didn't make a difference.
I am surprised that quality doesn't seem to matter. And it really is a question of type and dosage. The longer time spent in centers, the more we see this aggression and disobedience.
But critics say they haven't seen those results in the real world. Charmaine Wong is a programming chief for a group of daycare centers in New York City.
We've had a program where we worked with the children who were 2 years old to 12 years old for 15 years, and we did not see any of that in our children.
Belsky cautions the difference in behavior of kids who went to daycare versus those that didn't was subtle, and says that good parenting is far more important to how a child turns out than anything that happens in daycare. Abby Pecorello agrees.
You know, it's my responsibility as a parent to make sure that I instill good behavior in my children.
The news from the study wasn't all bad. It also found that kids with higher quality child care scored better on vocabulary tests through the 5th grade than those with lower quality care. Kelly Wallace, CBS News, New York.
Now a look at your Wednesday morning weather. The latest satellite picture shows a strong storm system moving into the central Rockies, where significant snows are expected to blanket the region. Elsewhere, strong to severe storms are moving through parts of the Mississippi Valley. Later today, a major storm is expected to drop upwards of 2 feet of snow across portions of the Rockies. Strong to severe storms will also develop across the nation's midsection. Elsewhere, it will be dry and mild in the northwest and warm throughout the northeast. In sports, the NCAA Women's Basketball Final Four is now set, and the Lady Vols of Tennessee showed Mississippi what it takes to get there. Candace Parker led the way with 24 points and 14 rebounds, but there were strong performances all around. Tennessee routed the Rebels 98-62. They'll face North Carolina, who beat Purdue to make it to the Final Four. Ivory Latta, who left last year's title game with an injury, limped off the floor again last night, but came back to finish with 21 points. Erlana Larkins had a career-high 29 points and 10 boards as the Tar Heels beat the Boilermakers 84-72. And the NBA is getting ready for the postseason, and the Cleveland Cavaliers just won their way in. LeBron James scored 23 points against the Pacers and had them playing catch-up for most of the game. This Danny Granger bucket cut the deficit to 1, but they'd get no closer. The Cavs beat the Pacers 105-94 to clinch a ticket to the playoffs.
Granger and a blocking foul against Indiana. Count it, and the foul. Granger has it.
Great balls of fire! You got the man, you got the man, you got the betting man. We got the king, we got the queen, we do the discount thing. You got the man, you got the big red barn. You get the discount price and it feels so nice. Buy at the betting man near you.
Monarch Dodge is overstocked and must reduce inventory now. Brand new 06s and 07s selling below dealer invoice at Monarch Dodge. Over 500 new cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Save thousands. Brand new Dodge Caravan SXT full power 7 passenger, just $13,995. Red hot 07 Caliber, only $14,995. Monarch Dodge overstocked and blowing them out below dealer invoice. Monarch Dodge must reduce inventory. Monarch Dodge on 441 between Oakland Park and Sunrise Boulevard. Save thousands today.
The International Artist Series, a non-profit organization, presents direct from Spain, Paco Peña and his Flamenco Dance Company, Saturday, March the 31st at 8 p.m. in the Jackie Gleason Theater, Miami Beach. The New York Times says extraordinary. The Los Angeles Times calls him the most universally respected flamenco guitarist today. Don't miss seeing Paco Peña and his Flamenco Dance Company, backed by popular demand, Saturday, March the 31st at 8 p.m. For tickets, call 305-643-9821 and all Ticketmaster outlets. Sponsored by Mama Jenny's Restaurant and German Motorsports.
Anna Nicole, the Daniel Inquest, Day 2, the new upset inside the courthouse. Oprah's plastic surgery addict, the dramatic measures she's now taking to become a human Barbie doll. Heather Mills, amputee angel fan at 5 years old, in tears. Being wheeled into the OR as doctors do the unthinkable. Reese, Drew, Kate, the best celebrity makeovers of 2007, the amazing before and afters, plus new photos of a star before her nose job. Next, Insider.
Tonight at 7:30 on 4.
Wedding Barn has the largest selection of the world-famous Tempur-Pedic at the lowest discount prices. You have to feel it to believe it. Take it home with you or same-day delivery available. Buy at a Wedding Barn near you.
In Florida, Davie, Tamarack, Deerfield Beach, Boynton Beach, and West Palm Beach.
There's been quite a bit of coverage this past week about Canute, that baby polar bear in Germany whose life was saved by the Berlin Zoo. But in South Africa, there's an even bigger operation underway to save another spectacular species from extinction. CBS's Lara Logan reports.
Meet Tiger Woods. Not the golfer, obviously, but a pretty impressive cat in his own right.
He's huge. He is huge. And he's only 2.
This Tiger Woods and his famously named pals, Madonna and Cathay, are all South China tigers, the most endangered species of big cat in the world today. Li Quan is breaking all the rules of conservation to try to save their dying breed.
If we don't do anything drastic, they may go extinct forever.
Li's drastic plan is to take these zoo-raised animals from Asia and put them in an environment in Africa where they can learn to be wild again. When Li saw the poor conditions in which these tigers were living in China 5 years ago, she devoted herself full-time to the cause and launched an ambitious dream to save this Asian tiger in South Africa, where no tigers exist in the wild. Moving wild animals is always a risky business, especially when you bring them halfway across the world. But this project has attracted particularly strong criticism from some cat experts who say there are too few South China tigers left and too many risks to be gambling with the future of an entire species.
Okay, when I blow the whistle, open the gate please, let them through.
The tiger's chief handler, Peter Openshaw, had his doubts at first, but now believes the open spaces and wildlife expertise in South Africa can save these Asian tigers. Openshaw initially had to hunt for them. After spending their lives in a zoo, these tigers had never even eaten wild meat and thought the dead animal was a toy. Now when Openshaw drops a carcass in a field and blows his whistle, within seconds, the tigers rush across the grasslands, ready to pounce. After 3 years, Tiger Woods and the others are successfully able to hunt for themselves.
The end goal of the project is actually to reintroduce the Chinese tigers back to where they come from. That means the Chinese wild.
Getting to the Chinese wild via South Africa may be a roundabout way, but to Li Quan, it's better than no way at all. Lara Logan, CBS News, Lahu Valley Reserve, South Africa.
And we thank you for joining us this half hour. This is CBS News, up to the minute.